Good morning. This is Micah Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates. Just going to do a very quick look at the precipitation chances from late this evening through very early Friday morning. We're going to take a look at first at the HRRR model, the 9Z run. It's the last complete run. It's only going to go out to late this evening, but we're going to take a look here from Pivotal Weather and just take a look as we get into the this is about 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's just starting to really kind of bring the lines together up here to our northwest. And we advance it a couple of hours. Now we're at 8 p.m. It's beginning to move into western Indiana, northwestern Indiana. I think this maybe could happen just a touch faster. This may be an hour or two behind, but we'll see how that plays out. Then we move on. It develops a decent line up in northwestern Indiana, and some isolated severe up there can't be ruled out. SPC has us just in the thunderstorm area, not even in the marginal risk area. The way things are timing out right now, that's probably true. However, I will say that if this line decides to hold together better, like it did the other morning, then that severe risk could come southeast. But those are always big ifs with these types of setups, because this time of year we get a lot of moisture in the atmosphere that can juice these things up, but it's a matter of will it tap into that. We'll take a look here at the NAM3K model, and we'll see something very similar. It's a little more aggressive with the line. I kind of like this a little bit better. And if I could click this thing right. So here we're looking at 7 p.m. Storms are kind of pressing in on getting close to Lafayette. What you'll notice here is you see how it's kind of got these little bows. That's the NAM3K is treating this kind of like an outflow almost, and that the storms are chasing. If there are going to be damaging winds, and they will occur just off of the noses of these bows, kind of again like what happened here a couple of mornings ago, where a sudden bow developed from a microburst, and we had some wind damage across Anderson and even a gustnado. I'll have to do a video about gustnados and explain those better. We actually had one here in Madison County, I think around 2015 or so, up close to Elwood, and I'm pretty sure I did a post about that. I'll have to dig that up, because a young lady up there had actually shot a video of it across a field, so it gives you a better visual idea of what they are. But at any rate, I digress. We'll take a look here in the storm line. Again, as we get later in the evening, this is about 10 p.m. It has some rain coming through, but if it ends up being like a outflow boundary, then it begins to kind of run itself out as it moves itself away from the main front. We'll have to see if this actually happens or not. Again, if this stays together, doesn't come together or come apart as an outflow, some heavier rains could be possible. Some heavier storms could be possible. If this comes a little faster, all those could be the case. So we're just going to have to keep an eye on it, and I'll update you later in the day and see, what this thing actually intends to do. It's just really impossible to know, because there's so many things going on in the atmosphere that could make this thing do one thing or another. It could be one of those where we don't get any rain. It could be one of those where we get some heavy rain. We're just going to have to wait and see. But overall, I think the NAM3K is kind of on to it. So when we advance that on as we get into it's 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. And what you can kind of see, you can't take these verbatim, where the model says things are, when the model says things are. These are really, the only reason I'm sharing these is more of like visual representations of what we might be seeing. And so, as y'all know, I don't forecast by the models, but especially for a video, they're good for visuals. So just keep in mind that in the overnight hours, there could be some patchy showers, maybe even some thunderstorms that occur overnight as the boundary kind of lingers. And then as we get into tomorrow morning, 9, 10, again, you just kind of see these patchy showers and storms will linger around. And that's really kind of going to be the case all through the day tomorrow. This is, again, wanting to develop the stronger storm cells to our southeast. But, again, if this is, the timing's different, then where the storm placement could be different. Also, again, this model doesn't show anything here, but something could pop up during the afternoon tomorrow afternoon. If they do, then they could be potentially stronger. They could potentially drop some heavier rain. And the same way, if this boundary you can kind of see that it just lingers around. If we get some sort of an impulse to develop along this boundary and come across, then you end up with an event like what happened a few weeks ago, where you just unexpectedly end up with really heavy rain. That kind of happened to Illinois yesterday. That's been happened a couple of times now to eastern Kentucky over the last few days. So that's a tricky thing with these setups in the summertime. You kind of have slow moving boundaries, but a lot of moisture available, and it's a matter of whether or not you get an impulse that taps into that and unloads that precipitable water, or if it just kind of stays cooped up and you just stay soupy and don't get a lot of rain. Right now I'm leaning more toward, we'll take a look here at the National Weather Service blend of models just for precipitation. You can kind of see, where it has the front advancing through, and late tonight into early tomorrow morning, getting into the daytime tomorrow. And the thing I'll say with this is, we'll go ahead and run this out. This is through Friday, or actually, Friday evening. The blend of models has us picking up about 1.1 inches of rain. It's probably not going to be as widespread as what this representation is. Just know, right now I'm expecting a 1/2 inch to maybe 3/4 of an inch of rainfall total as a widespread event from tonight through Friday morning or Friday afternoon. But know that if that front decides to stall, if the line decides to hold together better, then these amounts can go up, and we could end up with some, localized 1 to 2 inch amounts. Well, we could end up with localized 1 to 2 inch amounts anyway if you get under the right cell, because they will unload a lot of rain where you do get some of these more intense cells. But if the front decides to stall, these amounts could go up quite a bit in a widespread fashion. Again, this is just kind of a preliminary morning look. And as much as anything, I'm kind of testing things out for the Patreon page as well. So getting a little bonus video for us this morning. So again, we're just take one more quick look at just kind of the loop through of kind of visually what to expect. And again, it's just right now as modeled, the line would fall apart and we'd just end up with patchy showers through tomorrow evening. Again, timing is everything. Whether that develops like an outflow or stays contiguous is everything. And if we can get an impulse to ride along that boundary, that could change things considerably. So I'll update you this afternoon as things set themselves up a little better. In the meantime, this is Micah Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates. Thank you all so much for following this page.